Hey, it's Sunday again. Forget about the worries and be ready for Drumsticks Sunday. Yeah, I know, I'm so sorry. I know it's almost Drumsticks Monday because it's been a really tough day, believe me. Because I've been trying to end the YouTube channel. I think I finally have it. Okay, it's been hard because of the way that YouTube organized the videos. I have to upload it again and blah blah blah. Okay, I think I finally have it. You can check it out and go to YouTube and go to search for Drumsticks Sunday. I think it's the first thing that appears. Or anyway, I'm going to put the link, okay, in the post. Okay, so I think it's a great way to have all the videos organized, and you can just look for a specific video whenever you want, and I think it's great to have it like that. Okay, talking about social network, this week I'm going to work also in a Facebook page about Drumsticks Sunday. I'm going to upload the videos there too, for those of you that don't use YouTube or just prefer to use Facebook. So once it's done, I'm going to advise you, so you can just click like and follow the page or whatever you want to call it. It's important for me that you understand that what I'm trying to do with all this is there's something I don't like, is the cross-posting. I don't know if the word exists, but that's how I call it. It's when you post something and your followers receives 13 different notifications of the same thing because you share something in your personal profile and blah, and another way, and then Instagram redirect the post and blah blah blah. I don't like that. Okay, I think what I'm trying to do is give you the option so you can follow. If you want to follow Drumsticks video, you can go to YouTube. It's okay. If you prefer to use Facebook, you have that option in the page, but you don't have to, you know, see the rest of my stuff if you don't want. So I think it's the more honest thing to do, for me at least. So that's what I'm trying to do. Okay, obviously during the first month or something like that, I'm going to keep posting and sharing and cross-posting, so everybody can know that we have that page and we have that YouTube channel and we have that. But once everything is stable, I'll stop doing that, and I'm going to just post the video on Facebook page, YouTube, okay, picture on Instagram, that kind of stuff. So if you follow Instagram, okay, you just see that picture. You don't want to go to the video, it's okay. So the thing is, give you the option, okay? I don't want to appear in your timeline with the same thing 10 times, so you finally hate me, okay? Okay, as you know, this week is a special edition. We have Brushes Sunday. So I really want to talk with you about the brushes. I think it's a great tool we have. It's kind of a drumstick, in my opinion, but with different characteristics. So let's go for it. First thing I want to say, for me, in my opinion, brushes are not just a tool for volume, for low volume. I know many of you that don't use brushes on a daily basis or a regular basis. You have a pair, so in case that the owner of the place tell you, okay, we have to play really low, you take the brushes and you play with brushes. It works, of course, but for me it's more a question of sound. You get a different sound. You get a different snare sound. Okay, more open sound, more not so, you lose all definition and something like that. Lower volume, of course, but especially in cymbals, I think it's unbelievable the change. Okay, it's like you have a different set of cymbals, so they open a lot more. You lose a lot of definition. It's hard. I'll talk about that later, especially with the ride. So you have to control how you play in a different way, but at the same time it's great because you can get different sounds, a different experience for the listener. So I think it's a great tool, and I think I want to encourage you to give you a try. If you've never used brushes, please take a pair and just experience with them. That's the main thing for me. Is that okay? It's a question of different. You get a different sound. And not only for jazz, when you can sweep, you have the sweep motion, which is maybe the main the main characteristics of brasses, no? Where the jazz, and you can play jazz and sweep motion, but you can use it for pop too, or for folk, or even rock. It's sometimes it fits. Okay. So that's the next thing I want to explain is it's about the parts of the brush. For those of you that don't know, that never have used a brush or brushes. Okay, so we have two main possibilities: is one retractile or not retractile. In my case, I always use retractile. I think it's better. Well, it means that in this case it's retractile. You can protect the wires. Okay, you can hide the wires. Or non-retractiles are like this. It's just, you can change anything. It's just like this. Okay. For me, I think it's better to carry on, to have this option. But sometimes it has something negative about that. It's you have to fight against this. Okay, because this moves and you are playing, and this. I'll talk about that later. Okay. Well, there are two main options you have. It's up to you to decide what you prefer, okay? Or try both and see what happens. Okay, the next thing is the material of the wires, okay? We have mainly, there's a ton of different options, I'm sure, but the main options are metal and nylon, okay, plastic material. So these are for a cajon, okay? So it's different sound, different. These are more a standard brush. For jazz, for example, so you get different material. Of course, it's different sound again. Okay, in this case, it's plastic. So the sound you get from the snare, for example, in a sweep motion is different than with metal. Okay, two different materials, different sound. Again, it's up to you to decide. You have to try both, because sometimes, for me, I prefer metal than nylon. But it's also true that sometimes you need. Not so, I mean, in this case with brushes you lose definition, but in this case you lose more definition because it's super soft, and sometimes it's what you are looking for. So it's good to have a pair of these two. It's up to you. Okay, it's retractile too in this case. But it's something you have to take into account, okay, when you are looking for a brush, the material of the wires. Another thing is the thickness of the wires, okay? These wires can be thicker or can be, well, you have different thickness in the, I don't know the English word for that. In Spanish, calibre, I don't know if that exists, I'm not going to say that, but the caliber exists or something like that, but it's the thickness of the wire, okay? The thicker the wire, you get more sound with less effort, okay? That's the thing. So it's something you have to go. Maybe it's one of the. I think that's one of the most important things to consider when you are looking for a brush. Sorry, it's the thickness of the wires. Okay. You can also look in the web page, or you can also find the thickness, and it's more. You have lighter brushes or thicker or more hard brushes, so it's something to consider. Okay. The next thing is it's how open is the bristle. I think is how it's called of this. Okay. So you can have it super wide or super narrow, depending on the brush too. The narrower, again, you get more focused sound, more volume also, more, it's different. If it's super wide, it's more open sound, okay? I think it's kind of low, I mean, it's kind of logical, I think. Again, another thing is the amount or the quantity of wires you have. You can have more wires or less wires. So it's the same thing. If you have more wires, there's more surface touching the snare. In case of sweep motion, for example, you get more more open sound, more volume, more. That's the thing. With this, you have more. If you have less or just a little, I don't know, less brushes and less wires, sorry, and close. It's normally closer, so you have more focused sound. Okay. And the last thing for me to consider is the grip, okay, or the I don't know how it's called this. Okay, that part of the part of this of the brush that you hold. Okay, it can also be from different materials. It can be plastic, it can be rubber, it can be wood too. So again, it's up to you. In this case, it's more the feel you have where you use this. It can also be thicker, it can also be narrower. You have a lot of options too. So it's kind of the same thing again. In this case, I think it's more your feeling or how you the thickness you prefer on a drumstick is kind of the same thing here. The same thing for me applies to brushes. Okay. More or less, that's some of the main things you have to consider when you are looking for a brush. So now I want to explain at the moment I've been using 4 different models of brush. Instead of talking in a general way, I'm going to explain my different options and why I've been changing to one model to another one. So I think we can talk about different things in relation to the brush, okay, or to brushes. First model, and I'm lying here because these are not the first model I have. I don't have that. I sold it, but these are pretty similar. Okay, in my case, the first model I get was the Versión light brushes. I mean light because they have different models. They have light, medium, and hard, I think, or at least light and hard. In that case, depending on the model, you get thicker wire, so it's, as I told you before, more sound, more blah 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 blah. So that model for me, they are super wide. They have a lot of pretty open, but it's super. I mean, the thickness it's for me. That's the main problem for me. They are too light for me. Okay. Well, the thing I get that one was the first brush I bought, just because I went to the shop and I want a pair of brushes. They had that, give it to me, and I went with that. Okay, when you start, it's okay to be light because sometimes it's easier also to move. You know, more flexible and that. But after a while, when I started using it in live or jam sessions on swing, manouche, gypsy jazz, all that thing, when sometimes you just playing with the snare, I found out that you lose a lot of volume and sometimes you need more. And even when you hit, okay, it's so flexible that the hit are the stroke, it's not so powerful. Sometimes you need more power, and so I decided to change. That's the thing. But another thing that really annoys me in that brushes are that they need to be more. This is too light too, so it's super easy to move. So sometimes when you are playing, they start moving, and the bristle change. Or I hope you understand. It's hard for me to explain in English, but you start playing, and sometimes it moves like this, sometimes it opens more. So you have to pay attention to that, and I hate to do that. I really hate that. For me, that's something that I hate enough to make me change the brush. Okay, I can have a brush that I love the sound, but if I have to fight with that, for me it's over. Okay, so something to consider too. I think that's something they have to work on. Of course, maybe it was just my pair of brushes, and I'm not sure about that. I never try another one, but I mean, the light thing is something just about the sound. It's your preference, and it's up to you. But this, it's something I think everybody is going to hate this. For me, it's my opinion. Of course, or maybe now they have solved it. I don't know. I've never used it again, but that's the two things that made me decide to change. Okay, so after that I went to a totally different brass, which was this one, which is the Big Firth Legacy. Okay, they are kind of expensive, okay? So you can check it out in any web page. But I really love the sound of these ones. They are kind of medium, okay? The strength or the thickness of the wires is kind of medium. But I don't know if it's the material or what it is, but I love the sound of the sweep motion. It's really good with this. When you play kind of train rhythm or something like that, you have to hit with this. Gives you enough sound and focus sound too sometimes. Something I really love, this is super strong. So if you put it like this, it's like this the whole song. It's not gonna change. So in fact, you have to really put an effort when you try to move this. So I love this one about the sound, about the feel of this, but I have two things that I don't like. First thing, it's this part. This is rubber, okay? The end of the stick is rubber, and you have wood here, which is really great because it feels like a drumstick, okay? And you can even use it on the ring too. But the place where the rubber joins to the wood, it start going out after, I don't know, maybe 6 months or something like that. I tried to glue it, but it didn't work. So I finally put duct tape here, and okay, it works. But I think it's something that they have to pay attention. I think they are pretty expensive just to have this problem in less than a year. This part also unglued, so I have to unglue. I don't know if you can glue it, but it went out too. So I have to work on this too. Put glue here. I think, as I'm saying, it's expensive enough to don't have these problems, in my opinion. That's one thing. Okay, and the other thing is if you play hard. In my case, I started playing with a pop rock band, and I use brushes a lot with different songs. And when I play hard, okay, I have to play with, with balls, and okay, they start bending. Now I could correct it. I can correct it, but I remember that in a song they start putting like this, so you get this. Okay. Again, the first time that something like that happens to me with a brush, but considering the price, I'm not sure of this. Okay, so it's up to you to decide. You're gonna love the feel. I mean, if you are playing soft style, jazz, something like that, even trains or something like that, but without having to hit really hard, just in a more light way or something like that, I think you didn't have that problem. But if you need it for pop, for rock, for different styles, I don't know what to say, but okay, I still have it, but I mean, pay attention to that, okay? When you see the price, at least you have to consider that. Okay, so after this, when I started having that problems, when they start to bend, I went to, I started looking videos on YouTube about brushes, and immediately appears one of the masters of this nowadays, which is Mr. Jeff Hamilton. Okay, he plays now with Diana Krall. Sorry, with Diana Krall, it plays jazz. It has an amazing brush technique. Okay, so I went with his brush. This is a regal tip, and it's a signature model from Jeff Hamilton. Okay, not too open, as you can see. Okay, kind of the middle, long enough. It's a really thick wire, so you get a lot of sound without doing a lot of effort. And in this case, it fits with the way that Jeff Hamilton plays, because he has a kind of loosey way to play, In fact, I've seen a video of him explaining that and how one of his masters explained, teacher, sorry, explained to him that it's kind of a way to play soft, and for jazz that's super cool. You just can check any of the videos with Diana Krall, and it's amazing how it sounds and all the movements and all that stuff. It's really great. So very thick. It's one of the thickest, I think, in fact, brass. But for me it has two problems. The main one is this problem again. In this case we have like two different positions where you can have this position, so you have this, the bristle is open just like this, and with this second position you have more. So this is better for sweep motion and more open sound, and with this you have more tap and more definition. But it moves a lot. It is strange for me for a drumstick of this, a signature model of this. But maybe sometimes it's the same thing. When you have better technique that the technique that I have, you can probably handle this better, of course. But I don't see the point. I think you can solve this. This works really well in that. So this is for me the same problem as I had with the Vincent ones. And another problem, new problem that appears, was that the rubber I have a hole, and this is the first time that happens to me. And I know it started happening after maybe 2 months or something like that, just when I start playing something, 2 or different movements, or with a train or something, and start breaking. And I don't know, this part also, I have to cut this part because I have the same problem here. So I have a piece of rubber here. It's for me, I don't know. This is not supposed to happen with signature. Well, I don't know. I don't have anything against Bigford or Jeff or Regal Tip, or it was just what made me change was this. Pretty sure that in all cases it's just my fault, the way I play, my technique. I totally sure that's the problem. But anyway, maybe you should consider using a different. I think I don't play so hard, in my opinion. Okay, I play hard sometimes, but not so hard for this. I don't know. So in this case, I love to play with this one. So I still use it. Sometimes when I need more sound or more volume, I go with this. But I really hate this, and of course this problem. This is killing me. So okay, I think it was, who was the one? I don't remember. It was a guy that was. I was watching a video and said to bend this, so you can bend this part, and then it can goes on. Okay, you just have to press, and once you reach the part that you bend, it's safer. But I think I don't see that as a solution. Okay, so this was the Jeff Hamilton model, and this past month I think I changed again, and I went with the Jason Sutter model, also from Regal Tip. I was watching a Drumio video of him showing brush techniques and different movements, different strokes and etc. And I really like the sound of the brushes. I realized it was kind of wide. It's the widest one that I ever had, and it's kind of medium thickness. So it's really, I've been using them for the last month, and it's been really comfortable. I mean, at the moment it's comfortable. I try to hit hard, not even a mark here. So at the moment it's really great. As you can see, wide enough, or super wide, sorry, super wide, medium. You can work with sweep motion. You can hit. You can. I'm at the moment no problems with this. Pretty strong positions. So it's what I'm using right now. Okay, something interesting is the thickness of this part. It's not. It's kind of 5A or even less. Okay, it's this one. The Jeff Hamilton is thicker. Okay, and all the other ones are all are thicker. So the same thing as I always say. Talking about drumsticks applies for me. Applies to brushes. Okay, so you have to consider this also. These are really comfortable to play light to kind of jazzy, loosey movements. Maybe for train or more or harder styles, I'll go with something thicker, but I really like these ones at the moment, and that's what I'm using right now. And of course, when I suppose when I decide to change, I'm going to another model, so I have to try. Okay, as I always say. Okay, brushes are just maybe between, I don't know, $20 or something like that, or 20 euros. You have from a lot of prices and models and etc. But it's not so expensive. I mean, if you don't play super hard and do something, it's gonna last for years. So I think it's something to try if you play drums. Okay, it's up to you, as I always say. Okay, the last thing I want to say is just to talk a little bit about different options you have on the market. First thing, if you want to try brushes, you have to do this. What is this? This is a normal pad with a newspaper on it. Why? Because it gives you the sound of the sweep motion, okay? You can... And believe me, something really great when you are recording and talking for 26 minutes and the iPhone runs out of space. Okay, sorry for that. I'm not going to start again, of course, but thank you to iMovie to allow me to glue these two videos so you can check it out. Okay, I'm going to finish, okay? Just a quick thing. I was talking about this. This is a kind of old school trick. With this newspaper, it is a regular pad. You can use any surface you want. You just put a newspaper and you get enough sound to practice the sweep motion and kind of practice with low volume at home. You don't need a snare for that, okay? Okay, and the last thing I want to explain is just kind of 2 or 3 different models we have on the market, which is kind of variations of the regular, it's kind of cool things. Okay, first one is Russ Miller has a signature model from Big Firth, which is special because it has the brushes are different one from each other. Okay, one it's more it's kind of the sweep brush. It's the bristle opens more. It's lighter, so it's better for the sweep motion. You get more. You get more sound, more wires touching. It's kind of different. And the other one has the bristle doesn't open so much. It's kind of like this. It's thicker. It's better for tapping and you know, get more for the stroke, regular stroke. Okay. So it's kind of designed for regular jazz when you have one it's doing the sweep motion and the other one is taping that. Well, it's kind of this. The standard use of the brushes, okay? Okay, that's one model. Another model is the Steve Gadd has another signature model from Big Firth too. In that case, it's special because the end of the wire it's bended. So why? Because when you play the brush with an angle against the snare, because of the wire of the end of the wires are bended, you have more surface touching the snare, okay, the drum head, so you get more sound at the same time. So I've never used it. I have a friend that has a pair and he loved them, so it's kind of cool. You have again the same movement, more surface touching. You have maybe more options to play, no, to get different sounds. Okay, that's another option. Another new option is for the split brush, I think it's called, from Big Firth. I'm not sure. I think I don't know if it's a signature model or I think it has are designed or maybe participate in the design with Florian Alexandru Thorn, which is kind of the brushes god nowadays. It's a guy who's has been playing with brushes for a long time, and it has a lot of, in any style, multi-style, not jazz specifically. Plays rock, pop, and has a whole, books, videos. He's kind of the guy to check out, okay, if you want to learn about brushes. So the thing with that is that it has, the brushes they have 2 lines of wires, okay, and this line is shorter. It's kind of the same idea of the Steve Gadd, but with a different approach, okay, different solution. Because in this case, because this one is shorter, when you have an angle, you have 2 lines touching the surface at the same time, okay? So you get more sound, blah, 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 blah. Kind of cool. I've never tried them, but kind of expensive, I have to say. But I think they have, I'm pretty sure that they are super cool, and you have to watch Florian using it. You have a video in Drumsticks, you can check that out. It's 1 hour or more, when he explains a lot about technique and brushes and uses different options, etc. Check that out if you have a chance. Okay, and the last one I would say is more special than all that. I have a problem with brushes. Nowadays I'm playing a lot of swing, when I use a lot of brushes now. But I find that sometimes when you go to the right to play, you lose so much definition that sometimes it's kind of strange. Some songs need the swing, okay, the right pattern, you know, you need that. And with brushes you have to, even if you hit harder, it's not the same sound, it's more open sound. So, okay, sometimes I change to a drumstick, but if you don't want to do that, I was looking for a solution, and the first thing I thought it was maybe change the ride, use a lighter one with more ride, or maybe smaller, maybe use a crash, different options. But I find, looking, you know, watching videos and searching, I find this is called, the company is called Headhunters, and the model is Dreamcatchers. It's kind of a normal brush. It has a nylon bar, bended, so you can regulate the length of the loop. Okay, it goes like this. So you can put it like this, or you can put it like this. It's up to you, the position. So the idea is that when you go to the right and start playing, you hit with the nylon, so you get more sound, you get more definition. Okay, I think it's really cool. The product, they are made in USA, and as always, just to order a pair for Spain, super expensive. Okay, the sending costs are kind of expensive, but maybe in the future I'm gonna at least have it a try, have it a look. Sorry. Okay, I think it's enough of a super long video with 2 parts in this case. I'm not sure if it's recording is still recording or happens the same as with the capacity. Okay, as I always say, if you have a chance, please give it a try. Get a pair. It's not too expensive, but for 20 bucks you can get a pair. And if you don't play it super hard, they're gonna last forever. And explore the sound. Sometimes some songs works so much better with brushes, so I think it's totally worthy. Okay, next week I'm going to drumsticks again. I'm going to try this, I'm going to the modern jazz collection again. In this case it's the MGC4, okay, it's different, totally different than the other one. It's maple, round T, blah blah blah. Okay, just for you to know. Okay, next week I'll tell you about it. As I always say, have a nice week, keep practicing. Tomorrow you can go and get a pair of drumsticks. No, get a pair of brushes and start practicing. And buy a newspaper too, don't forget that, okay? Have a nice week, take care, goodbye.